Today is Tuesday, September 24th. We'll tell you why the U.S. is now sending more American troops to the Middle East as the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah gets more intense and deadly. And what new FBI data shows about crime in America. Hint, there's less of it. Also, what to know about two major hurricanes. One is hitting Mexico now. The other is expected to make landfall in Florida later this week. Plus, how the U.S. is trying to keep China from using smart cars for spying. Why California is suing ExxonMobil. And all about a new game show based on the classic sitcom Friends. Those stories and even more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. The U.S. is now sending additional troops to the Middle East after a deadly day of Israeli attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon. The Wall Street Journal cites an unnamed U.S. defense official who said it would be about 24 troops to help in the event of an evacuation. Axios reports U.S. officials asked Israel to take steps to ensure the safety of Americans in Lebanon if the U.S. evacuates its citizens as fighting between Israel and Hezbollah escalates. There are thousands of American citizens living and working in Lebanon, where there is now the most intense fighting since at least the 2006 war. The Israeli military said it launched strikes against about 1,600 locations in Lebanon yesterday and continues to attack, targeting Hezbollah's military infrastructure and fighters. Lebanon's health ministry, though, says these strikes killed nearly 500 people, including dozens of women and children, and injured more than 1,600. Israeli officials have warned residents in Lebanon to move away from Hezbollah's weapons that are stored in civilian homes. The human rights groups argued civilians would have no way of knowing. Hezbollah, the armed militia backed by Iran and designated as a terrorist group in the U.S., also fired a barrage of missiles towards Israel and vowed to keep attacking. Most were intercepted by Israel's anti-missile defense system. There has been a major escalation of violence in the last week after nearly daily tit-for-tat attacks that continued for the last 11 months. Now, there are even more fears of a full-scale war involving ground troops. President Biden says he's working to de-escalate the conflict. To be continued. Well, there are some new details about the man arrested in connection to an apparent assassination attempt on former President Trump at his Florida golf club earlier this month. The FBI says the suspect had a list of dates and venues in his car showing where the former president had appeared or was expected to appear. There was also a handwritten letter revealed that said, "Dear world, quote, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you." It had apparently been written months before this incident. The details were revealed as part of a court filing to ensure the suspect stays in jail through a trial. Federal prosecutors are also working to add the charge of attempted assassination. The alleged gunman is already facing 2 federal firearms offenses. The likely new charge carries a max sentence of life in prison. Also this week, the gunman who killed 10 people at a Colorado supermarket back in 2021 was found guilty of 55 felony counts, including murder. Jurors rejected the defense's argument that he was insane. He'll spend the rest of his life in prison. The latest FBI statistics show what's being called a historic drop in crime, both in the first few months of this year and throughout last year. The number of murders specifically reported in the U.S. last year dropped at the fastest rate on record, down 11.6% since 2022. And overall violent crime fell 3%. As for the start of this year, the downward trend continues. The murder rate was down by more than 26% compared to the same time last year. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said, "These are not just numbers, these are people whose lives were saved." It's a welcome drop in crime that initially spiked at the start of the pandemic. And overall violent crime has dropped significantly compared to spikes in the 1990s. The FBI collects data from all agencies with at least 1 million people in its jurisdiction. A storm brewing now is expected to strengthen into what will be called Hurricane Helen, and it could make landfall in the U.S. as early as Thursday, possibly as a major Category 3 system. Authorities are warning people along the Florida Panhandle and Big Bend region to get ready. Soon-to-be Helen is likely to develop and strengthen quickly once it enters the Gulf of Mexico's warm waters. Forecasters say it has the potential to be the strongest hurricane to make landfall in the U.S. so far this season. Florida's governor declared a state of emergency for 41 counties along and near Florida's Gulf Coast in order to make more resources available to help. Meanwhile, in a developing story, Hurricane John just hit Mexico's southern Pacific coast late last night as a Category 3 hurricane, bringing fierce winds and heavy rainfall. It went from a tropical storm to a major hurricane in a matter of hours, catching even authorities off guard. All right, more news is coming up, including why California is suing ExxonMobil, new options for Google TVs, all about a game show for fans of Friends, Trivia Tuesday, and more. But first, thanks to our sponsor. Are you planning a vacation for fall break or the upcoming holidays, but you're kind of dreading the cost? Well, with Ibotta, you can earn cash back on all your purchases, so you can spend more time making memories and less time just dreaming about them. Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop. You can save at your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and many more. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. But with Ibotta, you earn cash back that you can withdraw to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. It's really easy to use. You simply add offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. It's time you join the over 50 million users who use Ibotta to earn cash back every time they shop. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code Newsworthy when you register. Go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use the code Newsworthy. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use that code Newsworthy. Okay, now back to the news. Well, the state of California is taking on the plastic industry in two big ways. First up, the state sued ExxonMobil, accusing the petroleum company of lying about how easy it is to recycle its plastics. It's the first time a lawsuit like this has ever been filed, trying to hold an oil company responsible for claims about plastic recycling. According to the suit, ExxonMobil deceived people for decades by saying all plastics are recyclable. In reality, recent estimates have found that only about 5 to 6% of plastic gets recycled in America. ExxonMobil says California is trying to blame others when state officials knew for years their recycling programs were ineffective. That lawsuit came the same day California's governor signed a bill to ban all plastic checkout bags at grocery stores starting in the year 2026. Now, if this sounds familiar, it's because California already banned single-use plastic checkout bags in 2014, though shoppers could still get thicker plastic bags that were meant to be reusable and recyclable. But recent data shows people were not actually reusing those, so the change led to even more plastic waste per person compared to a decade ago. Now, the new law means no thick plastic options either. Shoppers will bring their own bags or choose paper at checkout. Environmental advocates praise the move, but the plastic recycling industry said it'll just lead to more imported, non-recyclable plastic cloth bags. 12 states, including California, already have some type of statewide plastic bag ban in place, and hundreds of cities do too. The U.S. government is taking new steps to stop Chinese technology and influence in smart cars. The Commerce Department proposed a rule that would ban Chinese smart cars from being sold in the United States. The thinking is that internet-connected vehicles from China may be a national security threat because they constantly gather information about their environments, including sound and video recordings. They could theoretically spy on people or send information about infrastructure back to China. The rule would not just ban vehicles. It would also block other car makers from using any Chinese hardware or software in internet-connected vehicles. In fact, this part of the rule applies to hardware and software from Russia, too, another nation the U.S. government has security concerns about. Auto companies would have a year to make sure they get rid of Chinese and Russian software, and 4 years to stop using their hardware, like chips and sensors that are crucial to the way many modern cars work. This is only a proposed rule for now. It still has to go through a public comment period before it goes into effect. The brand new Google TV streamer goes on sale today, and it comes with a bunch of new features that will also be available on all Google TV devices. Google's streaming box costs $100, and it replaces the Chromecast line. It's designed to compete with other add-on devices, think Roku or Amazon's Fire Stick. And the company announced with its release yesterday a new home control panel that can connect its TVs with other smart devices in homes. So you can do things like adjust the thermostat or see who rang the doorbell, all from the TV's home screen. Other new customizations include a sports page with YouTube highlights and commentary tailored to each user's tastes. And similar to pretty much every new tech product now, artificial intelligence will also play a role. For example, Google's AI software Gemini will give overviews of shows and movies. Google TV Free Play will now also offer 150 free channels. All right, if you love the classic sitcom Friends, listen up. A 4-episode game show is coming to celebrate the show's 30th anniversary. It'll be called Fast Friends and air on Max. A release date hasn't been announced, but it will start production next month in New York at the Friends Experience, a massive interactive exhibit that features replicas of iconic locations from the show. Fast Friends will be part race, part trivia. Teams of Friends diehards will have to compete tasks like grabbing coffee at Central Perk while answering questions about the show. Puzzles and other challenges will test contestants' knowledge of the sitcom. At the end, the winning team will be crowned the ultimate Friends fans. The original Friends premiered back in 1994 and ran for 10 seasons on NBC. But now reruns live on. Max became the show's exclusive streaming home in 2021 and will now have bonus content to celebrate 30 years since the show debuted. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. But first, a quick break to thank our sponsor. The SKIMS Soft Lounge Collection truly lives up to its name. It is so soft. Every time I get an item in the mail, I pull it out of the bag and I am immediately impressed by the feel of the fabric. Whether it's my SKIMS Soft Lounge long slip dress, the Soft Lounge tank, or the sleep set, I immediately want to put it on and wear it all day long. And often I do, because a lot of the collection can also be worn out of the house. I recently got the Soft Lounge tank paired with the fold-over pant, and it's great because I can wear it lounging around the house, running errands, or dropping my kiddo off at school, and then come back home for a Zoom call, and I'm both comfortable and feel stylish at the same time. In fact, I love having matching sets on hand, like that set or my Soft Lounge sleep set. It's something so simple, but it really just makes me feel put together with very little effort. Shop the SKIMS Soft Lounge Collection at skims.com, now available in sizes extra, extra small to 4X. If you haven't yet, be sure to let them know I sent you. After you place your order, select The Newsworthy in the survey and select my show in the drop-down menu that follows. Okay, now back to Trivia Tuesday. Today's trivia question is, what does the QR in QR code stand for? You can play along with us in our weekly roundup email that comes out every Friday. Sign up to get it at thenewsworthy.com/email. As for last week's trivia question, what year did the comedy sketch TV show Saturday Night Live debut? The answer is 1975. And that means the new season of SNL, which starts this Saturday, September 29th, is the show's 50th season. Technically, the show's original name was actually NBC's Saturday Night, but it changed to its current title after 1977. And of course, it's gone through many more changes in its half-century on air. But one constant has been co-creator Lorne Michaels, who's still an executive producer. When Michaels and Dick Ebersol created the show, sketch comedy wasn't nearly as popular as it is today. SNL's legendary original cast helped change that. Stars like Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, Jane Curtin, and John Belushi all went on to have storied careers in film and television. And over the years, the show kickstarted the careers of many other comedians. Think Bill Murray, Eddie Murphy, Tina Fey, and Kate McKinnon. Saturday Night Live carved out a major place in pop culture, parroting presidents and politicians from both parties, introducing popular segments like Weekend Update, and occasionally creating controversial moments of its own. The season 50 premiere this Saturday will feature host Gene Smart and musical guest Jelly Roll. Well, thank you so much for listening and making us part of your daily routine. We'll be back tomorrow with more news you need to know. Until then, have a great day.